Oh, sorry. Greetings, programs. I'm Jacko, and welcome back to the gamification. I'm sorry I'm late again. I need to work on my time management skills. Anyway, this is a place where we can get together as fellow geekazoids and talk about all the things in the world of gaming, movies, animation, and what have you. Let's get back into the swing of things this week with the first topic I'm going to call new news is good news. Not always. And that is news number one. And this is from Collider.com. Jonathan Kasdan writing Indiana Jones 5 for Steven Spielberg. As Lucasfilm recalibrates the future of its Star Wars franchise, the company is pressing forward with its other marquee property as Jonathan Kasdan, solo and Star Wars story, has signed on to replace David Koepp as the writer of Indiana Jones 5, multiple sources tell Collider. Steven Spielberg is directing the sequel, which will star Harrison Ford in what will likely be his final turn as the daring archaeologist, according to media reports that point to Indy's whip being passed down to a younger actor or perhaps actress. Koepp was hired to write the Indy 5 script in 2016, having written the previous installment in the series, 2008's Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Oh, not a lot of people like that movie. I didn't mind it, but I was just like, Indy's getting old, come on. Not the actual franchise, but Harrison Ford as Indiana. And because that role is so physical, it just it doesn't really suit him anymore, in my opinion. Okay. He has been one of Spielberg's go-to scribes. So David Koepp. He has been one of Spielberg's go-to scribes for years, writing such films as Jurassic Park, The Lost World. So Jurassic Park, The Lost World, War of the Worlds. Not to the new version, I believe. Not to mention non-Spielberg blockbusters like Spider-Man and Mission Impossible. This past March, Spielberg announced plans to start production on Indy 5 in the UK in April 2019, as the tentpole is slated to hit theatres on July 10th, 2020. The previous 4 films in the Indiana Jones series have collectively grossed nearly $2 billion worldwide, and after the mixed response to Crystal Skull, very mixed, Spielberg is pulling out all the stops to send Ford's Indy off on a high note. Should Kasdan inherit the previously reported plan to pass the franchise torch to a younger actor in this film? Yeah. I can't really say much about John Kasdan's writing. Like I've said before, I watched Soul and I was like, okay, sure, it's a movie. I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't get I didn't get the whole... Like, I understood what it was about. I understood the plot. But I just didn't get that feeling, that sense of magic or wonder or whatever that other Star Wars films have given me previously. Remember, this is all just my opinion. Okay, news number 2. We Happy Few has been reclassified to R18+. This is from Kotaku.au. I'll just read the thing and just have a chat. The classification board has reversed their original ruling on We Happy Few, given the dystopian future a R18+ rating following a review. The board announced through their website this afternoon that a 3-member panel unanimously determined We Happy Few will receive an R18+ rating, reversing the RC ruling that would have seen the game banned from Australia previously. The fantasy violence and interactive drug use moniker will be applied to the game's classification rating instead. Okay. Yeah. A lot of games that have drug influence or I want to say messaging as well, but drug use actually part of the game structure, the concept, one of the main mechanics, I guess you could say. They tend to get banned here in Australia because it's just like the influence with teens and whatnot, but. And this is from so We Happy Few was a game I'm really interested in. It's very Bioshock-esque, System Shock. But you got to take pills to force yourself to become happy, kind of thing. It's like a oxytocin boost, whatever. Anyway, it's taking drugs to be happy, and everyone's happy and delusional and whatnot. Go check out some of the trailers for that. It's very weird. It's been in like pre-alpha for a long time. Anyway, they've finally reclassified this as a RE18 game, so we in Australia over here get to play it, and I am very excited for that. Another thing from the movies side, just another little thing that was like, oh, Tom Holland, you're at it again. He was on Instagram, and he was talking about the Spider-Man Homecoming 2, and he's like, hey, I got the script and whatnot, and it's weird because, spoiler alert, in Infinity War he dies, but there's probably going to be a thing in Infinity War Part 2 that explains it, that they all come back, or most of them come back, or whatever, who knows. But the funny thing is, I will just show you here, I saw this in GameSpot. He was like, hey, I got the script for Spider-Man 2, and it actually shows the subtitle called Far From Home. So we assume he's going to be back in space or whatnot, and I just thought it was funny because he's always been accidentally leaking things, not on purpose, and it's just like, oh, Tom Holland, you've done it again. Yeah, so that was just a funny thing I wanted to show off you guys. So I call that news number 4, but news number 3, sorry. So this one will be news number 4. New Xbox console in development. This is from GameRant.com, and it was also on GameSpot and some other places. But from what I saw at Microsoft's E3 2018 presentation, Head of Xbox Phil Spencer teased that the next generation of Xbox consoles was already in development, but stopped short of providing any concrete details. There's still much we don't know about the next gen Xbox console, but thanks to an interview Spencer gave to Japanese magazine Famitsu, we do know that Japanese developers are actively involved in its development. Spencer didn't name any specific Japanese companies that are providing input for the next Xbox, but he did say that Microsoft has asked Japanese devs what kind of innovations they want to see in the industry that could be incorporated in the new system. Spencer himself has traveled to Japan with various publishers and developers in the country, and he believes that he is successfully building a bond between them and Microsoft. Apparently the project for this new Xbox is called Scarlet. So the previous one, the Xbox One X, was previously known as Xbox Scorpio? Yeah. And this one will be Xbox Scarlet, I believe. From what I've seen and what I've heard, Phil Spencer, he's doing a great job over at Xbox, and he's been going all over, like almost all over the world. He was down here in Australia for a bit and did a bit of a talk. Pardon me. That's hot. He had a bit of a talk with hopeful game developers and stuff like that down in Melbourne. But he's also, from what we've seen here, he's been in Japan talking to a lot of people in the industry, and especially from what I've seen, or not from what I've seen, what I've heard, and from what the market has been telling us, Japan's not really into the Xbox. They'll stick with Sony, they'll stick with mobile gaming, and the Nintendo systems, right? But if Phil's actually going over to go, hey, let's get your input so you can be a bit more invested into this system, I reckon that's a really smart move. Especially because they're actually getting a lot of, from what we saw in this 2018's E3, they've had a lot of Japanese games being being brought over to the Xbox family, I guess you could say. Like, there's been a lot of Capcom stuff shown. What was the obviously Devil May Cry and Street Fighter and all like that, but also there was a new anime fighting game. I can't remember what that was called. The Jump Festive fighting game. Also the Shadows Die Twice game. We thought that was going to be the Bloodborne 2, so primarily on PlayStation, but no, it's going to be on Xbox as well, which is really cool. Alright, now we go into the next topic, which is Game Chat working title. If you have a better title, leave it in the comments below, and I'd love to use it. This one's getting a little bit old for my taste, but I work with what I've got. First off, I want to talk about this game I've been playing. Just a little impression bit review, I guess you could say. I believe it's called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Now, this is I guess you could call it a promotional demo from the Life is Strange company Don't Nod. I've talked about this before. I play Life is Strange, great teenage drama kind of game, episodic. They had a prequel game with one of the characters, Chloe, and how she got into her dramas and whatnot. I didn't play that one, but I played this, which is kind of like a spin-off story, not about the main two characters. There's I believe his name's Chris, and it's just this kid. He's just living with his dad. He's moved to a new town kind of thing, and he doesn't have many friends. And it's just him like playing in his room, playing in his house and whatnot, and making up these adventures of him being Captain Spirit, like this great hero of space and time and whatnot. Really fantastic. You go around, you look at all the things, your drawings and whatnot of your superheroes, and him playing with these toys. It's such a it's almost like a reminiscence game, and where you're like, oh, remember when we used to do those and stuff like that, and narrate your adventures, and like, it was really cool. And you're like, it's like you sit there and watch some of the scenes go by, and go, it's almost like a walking simulator if you haven't played these kind of games, where you walk around, interact with little things, and it gives you a little bit of information. Much better. And then you go, huh, okay. And then you go find things that other characters might give you hints at, or like you try and go to a place and go, oh, I need a key for that. I better go back inside. So you go back inside and find the key in someone's pants or something, which is cool. Anyway, this kid Chris, he's just like having a hard time. His mom passed away or something, and his dad's gone a bit off the tracks, can't find a job, just moved to a new area, having a tough time, rah. Yeah. So Chris is a troubled kid, and sometimes some might empathise with him. I don't know. Depends on how you play. I guess you get some different options, so you get a little bit of different outcomes. Really fun. It's not a long game, maybe an hour, two tops, like an hour and a half. It's just like a little experience. And just to get a feel for it, strange, Stranger Things, A Life is Strange 2, which will be coming out in September, I believe. Anyway, there was this one part I also wanted to mention for the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, or the Amazing Adventures of Captain Spirit. You find your dad's car keys, right, and he goes and sits in the car, and he's like, oh, it uses it as like his spaceship, but instead of changing like the scene to actually be a spaceship with him inside it, it's actually just him in the car. The camera's kind of pivoting around, and it's just him going, oh no, we're gonna crash, oh no, and boo boo boo, and making the sound effects, and you hear like these other in-game sound effects to emphasize the imagination kind of thing. But it's almost like a parent watching his kid having a bit of fun in the car, and that was something I used to do back in the day. I'm like, I get this kid, I get this kid. So it was a bit of fun, a bit of a good, a bit of a time waste. Yeah, it's free on the stores on the Xbox and PS4, I believe. So yeah, go check it out for a little bit. All right, rumors abound. There's only one little thing that I found, and this is from Kotaku's Jason Schreier, who's always got the sweet, sweet scoops. And I just wanted to read this out a bit. Sources say that Google is planning a game platform that could take on PlayStation and Xbox. Yeah, and I've only taken a couple of things from this, but if you want to read the full article, go to Kotaku.com, look up Jason Schreier. He goes really in depth in a lot of his works. And like he really gets into the bottom of things of why things happened, or like what happened to a development where it just fell through, or why did the game get cancelled, all the other shenanigans that happen in the seedy underbelly of game development. So I'm just reading a little bit, a couple of excerpts from the article. Over the past few months, the wildest rumours in video game industry circles haven't involved the PlayStation 5 or Xbox 2. The most interesting chatter has centered on a tech company that's been quietly making moves to tackle video games in a big way. Google, the conglomerate that operates our email, our internet browsers, and much more. We haven't heard many specifics about Google's video game plans, but what we have heard is that it's a three-pronged approach. 1. Some sort of streaming platform. 2. Some sort of hardware. And 3. An attempt to bring game developers under the Google umbrella, whether through aggressive recruiting or even major acquisitions. That's the word from 5 people who have either been briefed on Google's plans or heard about them secondhand. So that's really interesting, where I would have thought that Google would have made enough money where they're like, yeah, we don't need that. We've got mobile game stuff, with the Google Play Store. We've got all this Android supported devices, a lot of hardware kind of things. Google Chrome and whatnot, it's all, they've got a big user base already. And to hear that Google's thinking about getting into like the actual gaming industry in that kind of way, where it's like, hey, we want to be a big player. I find it fascinating. Where it's like, is this really a smart move? Not just financially, yeah, but it depends on what the approach is, right? Like, yeah, getting some companies under your belt, or even building your own studio, sure, but you need to take people from different areas of the actual industry and different studios already. So it's weird. It's kind of out of the blue, but also a little bit expected because of how big Google is. Yeah, I just thought that was weird. Alright, games out this week. Not much really this week that I saw was worth mentioning, but it's just a few, so here we go. Forests of Augusta, early access, that's on PC. Rabbit and the Moon, PC. Jurassic World Evolution, Xbox One and PS4. Runbow, not Rainbow, Runbow, RUNBOW. That's on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition. Mars, get it? PS4, Xbox One and PC. 18 floors on PC and PS4. Pro Gamer Tycoon on PC. That sounds interesting. That's like build your own team and, assign them on to contracting or whatnot. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr. So it's like Inquisitor Martyr expansion, I guess. That's on Xbox One. The Journey Down, Chapter 3, Nintendo Switch. So the Journey Down would be episodic, I believe. Assault Gunners HD Edition on the Switch. And finally, Observer on the PS4. Alright, it feels good to be back in the action again. Alright, that's it for me, guys. Thanks for sticking around for as long as you have. If you wish to get in contact with me, share your thoughts and opinions, or just have a chat, follow me on Twitter at Jackosaurus, or email me, get into in-depth stuff. Send some questions my way. What do you think about the news? What other news have you heard? I want to know about it, and I might even read it out on the next episode. So email me at the Gamification Outlook, or join our Facebook group at the Gamification, and we have a lot of interesting chats there. We're trying to start up a game group for Fallout 76, so if you want to be part of that, come and hang out with us. What else we're doing there? There's E3 wrap up. I did a little write up for that. My impressions on some movies and whatnot. Check that out. Yeah, and let's just have a good time. Alright, thanks again. End of